Hi, it's Dino. This is the last Moral Oral episode ever. I'll probably be doing another show or two at Adult Swim, but this is the last one I'm producing. Last Moral Oral that I'm producing. I talked to Mike, and he said, Dino, whatever you want to do, you can do. And I said, well, what about the last 7 episodes of Moral Oral that you didn't let us do? And he said, well, let's not be crazy. And he also said, well, you know, who's to say that there can't be a Moral Oral special? Well, I do. I'm not going to do it anymore, because I think this episode sort of wraps everything out nicely. It was an afterthought after the order was cut down to 13, but I think everything works, and it was directed. It was originally going to be directed by Chris McKay, but he was very nice in that certain other directors didn't get a chance to direct since shows got cut, so he gave this one to David Tuber, who took it over. So they kind of both directed it. Tuber directed probably most of it. I think the storyboards were done by the time David got to directing it, and oddly enough, David is the storyboard artist, so I'm sure he had a hand in a lot of the creative decisions there. So I had this idea for a while that I wanted to do a second part to the Christmas episode, leading in from the very end of the Christmas episode to where we go up, and then coming back down. And Io Perry's song, Valentine, always was a part of that idea too. It sounded very Christmassy to me, and I liked the idea that the lyrics were, "It's not your time, my Valentine," almost like God or whatever saying to Orel, look, you're not going to have a good Christmas this year, but things will probably turn out okay at some point, which is what the song's about, in a way. So sit back, I guess, if that's what you do when you watch things on your computer, or sit up, or stand up and cheer at the last Moral Oral ever.
I have faith in you.
It's not your time, my Valentine. It's not your time, my Valentine.
Right there, after that dissolve, it went from, we have, kind of big miniatures, which I know is a contradiction in terms, an oxymoron, but it's like our standard scale. But after the dissolve, they're like little train set miniatures, and Orel's kind of just superimposed into that shot right there. And then when we come back, when we zoom back down, it's all that train stuff, and Chris McKay kind of helmed that shot, where we go down and see that Orel's not there and go over to the hospital. Now this is a very quick montage of just shots are pretty much all the episodes that take place after the first Christmas episode and before this episode. So we start out with, God's image, where they're sitting in the Chinese restaurant and Clay's explaining why he got back with Blueberta, and then we go in chronological order. Not necessarily in the order that the shows were aired. There are some shots that are very early that are from season 3, actually, from the Sundays episode. For example, where Florence and Dottie, it's a couple episodes before this one, have their own story. These two sort of extra characters that we never really got to know. It's almost like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern or Dead sort of a takeoff, where we just, So anyway, you know what I'm saying. I should just shut up.
Well, it's not Christmas quite yet, but let's open her up anyway and see what we got.
Certainly the first season I didn't care about continuity. We even had a different name for the nurse, I think, in one episode. And then, as it went on, it became a math problem as to, where everything kind of falls chronologically. And that's what I was playing with in this season, just the idea that, I thought if this went on several seasons, even more after this, we could play with time, and if Orel has a limp, it happened after the nature episode. If he doesn't have a limp, it happened before, and we could always jump around. So we could do funny episodes and serious episodes, So I wanted to pinpoint, the entire chronology and have a world that made sense.
Seems to have healed nicely.
It still hurts.
The bone did shatter some.
But it's been so long.
Naturally. You'll still have to use this for the next few days.
Oh, just a few days?
Yes, and then you'll be limping for the rest of your life.
Oh.
Is your dad coming to pick you up?
No, he's busy.
Ooh.
So one of the, the clues for animators are, from now on, make Orel limp, even when when he doesn't have crutches. That fell through the cracks a couple times, so we had to cut around Orel not limping, and that was one of the main things I did when I was on the set going, remember, make Orel limp. He's got to limp for the rest of his life. It was very important to me. I like to make all my characters suffer.
Can't believe you kept this from me.
It's true. Shot him with my own two hands.
Would have been my own one hand if Orel hadn't gotten in the way. That kid loves animals like he's St. Francis of wherever. Can't even look at him anymore. Tell me more about the bear. You should come by and check it out. I got it stuffed in my study. Ooh, my kind of study. Okay, this is it. What? I got some business to attend to. I'll wait for you, buddy.
So here's the scene that we saw part of in Nesting, where, here's a continuity error. This is supposed to be the same day, and Dr. Potter's wheel is over on the left side of the shot, playing the Super God game when he was just in the doctor's office. So, but anyway, so yeah, I don't know what I was going to say.
Your mom's little hatchling.
We played a lot with sound here to just make it sound a little more heightened dramatically. I think we actually played an earlier cue backwards and slower and just had it get sucked out once he left.
Ooh, I thought I was done with this whole emotion business.
Half awake and in a state, lying there, waiting for a day to break. Pretty pearls and your cartwheels, everything, even a chorus line. Oh, the snow, it sparkles.
I think I've got a problem.
We were running out of money toward the end of this. This was the last episode we finished shooting and post, and I really wanted breath. You know, to see breath in the outside shots, and they kept saying, well, if we have time, we'll have breath. And I got my breath, thank God. That shot of Clay in the poster, first of all, it says Vote Puppington. I kind of wanted it to be an old beat-up poster, like it was just hanging up past the election. Now it's a little new, it seems a little new, so it might be confusing, like isn't the election over at this point? Or maybe you're not even thinking anything. Maybe I overthink things, okay? But I wanted him to give Stop Frame a kissy face, and because of the paper mouths, it's very hard to do, and David Tuber, the director and storyboard artist, made kissy lips, and hopefully it reads as him kissing, and because otherwise it's a really weird shot.
Dad?
And another thing, Growly. Always honor thy father. That commandment wasn't even lost, so there's no excuse not to remember it.
Honor thy father, not mother, father.
So here's a scene with Reverend Putty, one of my favorite characters, voiced by William Salyers, and OREL, voiced by Carolyn Lawrence. And one thing that always bugs me in this scene is, all through the shooting of Moral Oral, I would always say, if there's anything written on a cup or in the background, make sure you get it in the shot, because it's there for a reason. And people like to read that stuff. And they would always cut it off a little bit, or, the hand will be covering it, and it used to drive me crazy. And this season, they went too far in the other direction. Now, if you'll notice in this scene, the I Hate My Boss cup, it's always pointing toward the camera. You could always read it no matter what angle it's at, which now drives me crazy in another way. So, enjoy that.
Aha! Beat ya, nobody! Hey, Oral! What's up?
Oh, hi, Reverend. I just came by to get some advice.
Okay, alrighty, here we go.
Well, actually, I was gonna talk to Jesus.
Why don't you two get a room?
Now that's a line I've been trying to get, I've wanted to get in since the beginning. I would just forget to put it in or something, and I thought, all right, this is my last chance. So this scene may have been cut if it didn't have that line in there. Why don't you two get a room? Another line that I thought of after this show, I thought it would be funny if Reverend Putty, Oral got excited about God or Jesus, and Reverend Putty said, why don't you keep it in your pants? But I like sexualizing religion.
Sorry, Reverend. I didn't mean to insult you.
Oh, forget it. You didn't, Oral. I'm just sick of being second banana around here. Now, what's the problem?
I don't honor my father.
Yeah, well, usually I'd say that was bad,
No,
but...
it's wrong. I just can't find anything that's worth honoring about him, though. What do you do when you don't like someone, Reverend?
Do? I do nothing. A jerk's a jerk. But, you know who's really good at liking jerks? Women! All they need to do is see some sap wearing a wedding ring and they think, that guy must be liked, so he's worth something. That's what you need to do. Go talk to someone who likes your dad that way. Much. Coach, stop frame.
Oh. Okay.
But 'tis the season of no humiliation.
Sorry, kid. Gym class is immune to Christmas time.
Please, Coach Stop Frame, I hate hurt ball.
Then try not to get hurt by it.
Couldn't we play a game that doesn't hurt, like hug ball?
Unfortunately, there's no such thing.
Ow, 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 ow.
So you see in the background, that's the second cat poster. We wanted to put some funny posters in the backgrounds for this episode, and so I thought of three you know, the cat, little kitten hanging, and it's like, hang in there, baby, or whatever it is. So we did a succession of 3 jokes for that. The first one, I think, is a little kitten holding on to something about to fall, and the poster says, hold on or you'll die, or something like that. And then this one says, it's actually falling, smooth move Sherlock laxative. I think this is the third one, actually. So smooth move Sherlock laxative for you kids out there is a combination of a couple jokes. Smooth move X-lax, which is something we octogenarians used to say back in the day. But because you can't say name brands, we changed it to laxative. And then also no Sherlock is also another phrase. So it's a very complicated joke. But anyway, the second poster, I think, just said future dead kitten because it was just hanging by one paw. And I think that's in Reverend Putty's office. The first one, I believe, is in Dr. Potter's Wheels office.
Coach?
Oh, great. His son.
Can I ask you something?
Look, Oral, just get out of... Oral, what's wrong with your face?
Golly, why?
It looks just like you.
Oh, yeah. It's been like that for a while now.
What did you want to ask me?
Coach Stopframe, you really like my dad, right?
What?
I mean, you obviously respect him. You have pictures of him in your office. You honor him in a way.
Well...
I just need to know, what's good about my dad, Coach Stopframe?
Why don't we talk about it over some hot chocolate, kid? After school.
So this is a sweet moment between Oral and Coach Stopframe. There was a little concern with everyone that this sweet moment would look like Coach Stopframe wanted to violate Oral instead of it being a sweet moment. But I think the music sells it, that it's nice. I hope to God it does, or else this episode is doomed.
Okay.
Danielle Stopframe.
Jingle Danielle, stop
What do
frame.
you want?
Hey, buddy, how about a quick eggnog nightcap? Say 5 minutes?
Doesn't it have to be night for a nightcap?
Sure, but it's always night in some backwards culture.
How's your little librarian?
Huh? Oh, that. That was just some under-the-table insurance so she'll never bother me again.
Okay, bye-bye.
Maybe I'll just have to bring my big stuffed bear over to your place later tonight. That's a good idea. I'll bring it by.
that's such
Bye.
a good idea.
This originally was supposed to be a split screen shot where we see Clay in his study and Stopframe talking to each other. Unfortunately, with stop motion, that would mean like an extra day of shooting. So the easy fix on that was to just have Clay's voice come out of the phone.
And then he told everyone that I accidentally shot myself, or the bear shot me.
Or that you got between the bear and him.
Oh, a new one, I guess.
He's got a million of them, kid.
What is it about him, Coach Stopframe, that you could tell me so that I could honor him again?
It's hard to put into words, Oral. Let's go ice skating first.
Okay, so we wanted to get as many of the characters from the show in as possible. So, almost sneezed. Or threw up, I forget which. So these first people who skate by, that's going to be Doey's parents, Kim and Carl. And right there, that's Joe and Nurse Bendy, who we found out earlier in the season are mother and son. I won't tell you which is which. And there goes Stopframe, which I don't even know why I stopped it. Sorry. Keep watching.
Hey, Oral. Didn't the doc say you only need this crutch for a couple more days?
Yeah, but he never said exactly how many.
Come on,
Whoa.
you can do it.
Whoa, 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 wow! You're right!
Hey, I never thought I was good with kids.
Well, you are a grade school gym teacher.
Believe me, That job has nothing to do with being good with kids.
So
here we see Clay with the bear. At the end of the, I guess it was the 11th episode, Sacrifice, directed by Chris McKay. In the credits, we see that Clay drives off back into the woods where he shot OREL, and later on that night, within the credits, he comes back, and it's kind of a distant shot. I don't know if it's clear enough, but you see that he brings he went to go pick up the bear that he shot, and here it is, and supposedly he's bringing it to Danielle's house as a Christmas present, an erotic Christmas present of some kind. So to Danielle from Santa Clay.
now can you tell me something about my dad so I can respect him again?
Not right now. You promised me we could go a-wassailing.
So you're feeling left alone in your thoughts. No one's really home. Guns are black and dangerous as hell. In your car, they may not kill you if you smile. You know you sparkle so. It's not your.
Everyone get dressed. We're going Christmas caroling.
What do you mean? Now? As a family? Cheerfully?
Yes!
This I've got to see. La 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 la.
One of the jokes that I like in like the recurring jokes is that Blueberta's a really bad singer. Britta Phillips is actually a really great singer, and she could hit these crazy high notes, and this one is one of them. She actually sang. She was the singing voice of Jem, the old cartoon from the 80s. So that proves that she could sing. But Blueberta can't, and there's actually an episode that flashes back to her being a little younger and not being part of the family choir, just for that reason.
Trim, trimmy, trim. Pop, poppy corn with butter.
Butter. Say, OREL, can you grab the chocolate light bulbs out of that box over there?
Sure, Coach.
Not that box.
Coach, you like my dad the way my mom likes my dad, don't you?
Your mom likes your dad?
Oh, it's no use. You can't show me what there is to honor my father about, because there's nothing honorable about him.
OREL, somehow, in his own blundering way, your father made you. And that's honorable.
Why here, of all places? And shouldn't OREL be with us instead of that bear?
Look, can it?
That's my kid Tigger doubled up singing Silent Night. She originally she would come into the studio and record, and as she's gotten older, she's gotten shyer, which I don't know if it's normal. Frankly, I'm worried. But so now, and even back then, she had to hide under the table when she did her voiceovers. Now I have to take a video camera to her place. We don't live in the same house, but she stays with me sometimes. We don't need to get into all that. It's okay. Everyone's happy. It's much better that I'm not living there. Anyway, she would just sing it when I like the sound on the video camera was good enough. So what you're hearing was taken off like a camcorder. I just wanted to talk about my kid for a second. I miss her.
Now let's do something upbeat. If the Lord were alive today, what would you give him this Christmas?
Dad!
OREL?
What are you doing here with my son?
Stop!
The thought of the two of you together makes my skin crawl.
Please! All we were doing was having a nice time. For the first Christmas in I don't know how long. I felt relaxed and full of joy.
This is rape! You raped my son!
What?
With niceness in order to get to me!
Dad.
Well, it worked! You got to me! Now you stay away from him! He's not yours, I am! I mean, he's mine, my son! Oh, I miss you, Oral. I need you in my life, Oral.
So I don't remember whose bit that was. The starting to talk to stop frame and then bringing it over to Oral. But that reminds me that I co-wrote this episode with David Tuber. That might have been his idea, which I think is great. If it's my idea, it's also great, okay? But yeah, he wrote the first draft of this, and then I made it a Christmas episode, and tweaked and twalked and twiked here and there.
And I love you.
We should go.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Oral?
Come on, Dad. It's late.
No!
He's right. It's too late.
Yeah. Right.
I had fun. Well, how are you at trimming?
Today's Christmas sermon is about family. What is family? Well, a lot of times, family is just a bunch of people who are forced to be together just because they came out of each other.
Okay, so here's the last moment ever. Oops, let me put this back on. The ending of... Here, let me just do this. The ending of the whole series was something that I had planned a long time ago, but couldn't do it the way I wanted to because the series was shortened. And one of the other directors from one of the other shows, Duke Johnson, said, I'd love to see Oral, older and see what happened to him. And I thought that was a great idea, and I wrote that into this script. I wasn't sure how to do it, but then I thought, one of my favorite characters and sort of a very central character for this show is Reverend Putty, and I thought it would be perfect to have him, at least hear him talking about, in his sermon, about families and what makes a good family, and kind of admitting that he doesn't know anything, and seeing visually Oral going from a miserable kid this Christmas to finally this morph into a real happy head of a family.
But every so often, a miracle happens.
This morph was actually done by Andy, I forget his last name now, but it'll be in the credits. Freeze it, under special effects. And it looked great. Because it was a morph done in CG, it had this very CG-looking digital look to it. So we also added a few dissolves to make it look a little more organic and magical.
A loving family. Just like that, out of nowhere. Now, what causes this?
If you see it, look in the background, you'll see Block as a fireman with a mustache, an adult Shapey with a mustache as a cop, and very old, sad Clay and Wilberta in the background. But Oral still loves them and puts them up on his wall next to the cross. He's still a religious kid. And he's got a happy family, and that's definitely Christina as an adult, his childhood sweetheart. And that's actually, that dog is a repainted version of Orel's dog Bartholomew, who dies in season 2.
A belief in God, a strong moral structure, blind luck. Who knows? Who cares? You're not going to get any answers out of me. I'm just a puppet for the big guy. I don't write this stuff. The end. Amen. Nah, who am I kidding? The end.
And one of the things I like about this ending is, that we get this shot that we always get at the end credits where Orel's making his movie, only this time he's finishing it up, putting everything away, putting it in a box, and putting it under the tree for Black and Shapey, which I think is very nice. Also, in Valentine, I was playing it one day, and I was just playing with it, just singing along to it, and started singing the Moral Orel end theme, and it actually kind of fit in my head. So I had Eben, who did a great job in this episode for music, put the Moral Orel theme over this end, the end of the Valentine song, and I think it works pretty well.
You know it's true, it's not your time, my Valentine. It's not your time, my Valentine.
Well, that's it. That's the last Moral Orel ever. I don't know who cares, but maybe someone does. Thanks for watching.